What's up, everybody? It's the Mr. Straight Facts Show, and I am Mr. Straight Facts. Let's get right into the news of today. Well, a lot has still been going on today, talking about what Donald Trump is doing to the Black History Museum in Washington, D.C., and what they want to happen with the Smithsonian and things of that nature. That still is going on, is an issue. And I have been wrestling with the idea of how is it that the Americans have not figured out what the Republicans have did with the term woke. Black people have told the entire world what woke really means. We've been telling you, but it's been falling on deaf ears. I don't understand why you don't get what woke means. And then you have to understand how woke was colonized by the Republicans and how it's been a strategy since the 60s or more, 50s, maybe more than that. See, woke is the Southern strategy. What's up, Mark? Woke is the Southern strategy, if you don't know what it is. This is the reason why I keep trying to tell people what woke means. And you see that it's grown into so many other things, but you got to start at what the root was. Now, I'm going to explain to you where woke came from, okay? And then we're going to go to woke, where woke went via MAGA, via Donald Trump, via Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. They took woke and did the Southern strategy to it. And I don't care what anybody is trying to negate. I already know based off of history. Just do your homework and you'll see that woke is equal to the N word. And I'm going to prove that to you tonight. Woke is the N word. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Coming out of mouths of racists. Woke is the N word. So I want you to understand that. I'm going to educate you on woke from the very beginning. What a person by the name, I'm going to give you his real name, even though his artist name. His real name is Huddy William Ledbetter. Okay? That's his real name. He went by the name of Leadbelly. He was a musician. He is the one who came up with the term woke, meaning something other than you waking to sleep, going to sleep, and waking up. He is the one that termed it, or at least got the credit for it in that time, in that era and time. So we're going to go through this so that there is no mistake. Anybody sees this will be educated on it and go learn it on their own. These are straight facts. I'm not making this shit up. I'm actually going to read it verbatim so I don't mess it up. Okay? The term woke has its roots in African American culture, and its earliest documented use as a political and social awareness phrase traces back to the 1930s and 40s. Leadbelly, the guy who wait a minute. Let me back on up a little bit because I got to give my man his just deserves. Okay. This is Mr. Leadbelly. This is the man who came up with that term in his song. This is the man that made the song called Scottsboro Boys. And that's all because of a situation that black men found themselves in a lot. We can go back in history even today. Black Wall Street, it happened because of that. The same situation. Somebody says that black people raped a white woman or something of that nature, or harmed a white person, and all of a sudden, it's like, well, did it happen? More than likely not. More than likely not, but it doesn't matter back in those days. So Leadbelly was a folk and blues singer. Again, named Huddy Ledbetter, better known as Leadbelly. He first popularized Jesus, the phrase in 1938 when he recorded his song Scottsboro Boys about 9 young black men falsely accused of raping 2 white women in Alabama. He introduced it with a warning. He told black listeners to stay woke while traveling through the South. In that time, Jim Crow, segregation, was brutally enforced. Lynchings were common, and wrongful convictions of black men were rampant. To stay woke meant more than just being awake. It meant being alert, aware, and cautious in a society designed to criminalize and endanger black lives. Leadbelly was using music not just for storytelling, but as a form of survival instructions. This is something black people did. During slavery, black women would put braids in people's hairs that literally had maps in their head. When they bent down, white people had no idea. They just thought it was creative. But anybody black knew this was the escape route made into their hair. How we could get away tonight, or we're going to leave and run. The map was put into their braids. They were resourceful. They came up with their own languages so that the racist white people didn't know what they were going to do. Leadbelly put it into a song so that it gets out to everybody. And so it did. It is a term that we constantly use in this country. Black people did. Until racist white people got a hold of it. And we'll continue down this path. It meant being alert, aware, and cautious in a society designed to criminalize and endanger black lives. Leadbelly was using music not just for storytelling, but as a form of survival instructions. Why it was needed at the time. In the 1930s, the Scottsboro case became one of the most infamous examples of racial injustice in America. 9 teenagers, ages 13 to 19, were hastily convicted by all-white juries despite flimsy or fabricated evidence. They became a rallying point for civil rights activists and labor organizers. For black Americans of that era, staying woke wasn't abstract. Keep that in your mind, abstract. It wasn't abstract. But someone else knows how to make that abstract. And that's Trump and the MAGA people. And they weren't the first to do it. We're going to go through that as well. They've been following the same game plan forever. That's why woke is not broke like Donald Trump is saying, and woke is not whatever. Woke is the N-word. I want you to understand that. Woke is the N-word. I'm going to keep saying it. Woke is the N-word, and I'm going to prove it in this show. Okay? All right. For black Americans of that era, staying woke wasn't abstract. It was a daily necessity. It was a warning to watch out for racial violence, lynch mobs, police brutality. Beware of the legal system, which was stacked against them. Recognize the lies of the dominant society that claimed justice was equal when in fact it wasn't. In short, staying woke was an early form of the survival code and collective wisdom passed down in black communities. It combined both political consciousness and literal self-preservation. Now, how did it evolve? Over time, especially in the mid-20th century and later during the civil rights movement, the idea of being woke expanded beyond physical vigilance to social and political awareness, being conscious of systemic racism, inequality, and the need for solidarity. By the 21st century, the word re-entered mainstream vocabulary through hip-hop, Black Lives Matter, and social media, carrying forward Leadbelly's original spirit of vigilance and truth-telling. That is where woke came from. This man put it in a song to let black people know that traveling through the South wasn't safe, and stay alert because they're charging black men and killing black men, imprisoning black men for no fucking reason whatsoever. So stay woke. A survival technique or strategy for black people. And then you get what they're doing to it now. All right, now, let's come back to me for a second. So, we're going to watch a video of CNN. And then we're going to go into the explanation. On CNN, it's Abby Phillip. She's asking Scott Jennings a question. We're going to stop it when she gets finished the question. I'll let him speak, but we're going to stop it and we're going to go through history. We'll let him come back. And that's how we're going to play it. Okay? All right, so this is Abby Phillip on her show, kind of asking what this question means coming out of Donald Trump's mouth recently. Let's get it.
I mean, he said as much by ending this post with, "This country cannot be woke because woke is broke." He says, "We have to have the hottest country in the world, and we want people to talk about it, including our museums." Why is he equating talking about slavery with woke?
Well, all right. She said, why is he equating slavery with woke? We're going to stop it there. I know my sister may know, and she may be in a situation where she's on a station that doesn't allow her to say what she wants to say, or she might be trying to trick him and figure out for herself. She never brought it up. That's the thing I don't like about mainstream media or any kind of media that doesn't allow you to say what the fuck you want to say. So the answer should not even an answer. The question to him was, why is he saying the N-word? And then have him squirm. What do you mean the N-word? And then you should have did exactly, because you got this information just as much as I got it. The next thing that she should have did before she did that, she should have asked him, why is he saying the N-word? He would have been, hold on. Here's the video in which you need to learn that he's saying the N-word. This is Lee Atwater. He lays out the Republican strategy to win the white racist voters.
Here's how I would approach that issue as a statistician or a political scientist, or no, as a psychologist, which I'm not, is how abstract you handle the race thing. In other words, you start out, and now y'all aren't quoting me on this. You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger.
1954 by saying N-word, N-word, N-word. This is his strategy, the Southern strategy. I had to take the N-words out because they'll block it and this information needs to come out. So you'll see these N-word, N-word, N-word. But you start out in 1954 or something like that by saying the N-word. It was okay to say back in 1954. This strategy had to shift.
By 1968, you can't say that. That hurts your backfire, so you say stuff like forced busing.
Okay, let's stop this real quick. I'll play it again, but
that hurts your backfire, so you say stuff. Forced busing.
You see that? Now you say forced busing. You use an abstract term to still say the N-word. See, he says you start out with N-word, N-word, N-word in the 50s, 1954. You couldn't do that anymore. You couldn't do the N-word anymore by like 1960 or whatever you're saying, 68 or what it was. So now you got to use other terms to still mean N-word to racist white people. So instead of saying N-word, you said forced busing. It still meant N-word.
States' rights, no.
States' rights meant N-word. That's when they used it in the 60s and 70s. States' rights meant N-word. Understand the Southern strategy of these Republicans. This was Reagan's guy. He used this strategy to get Reagan being the president. He used this strategy later on. And who is he connected to? Who is his apprentice? His right-hand man, the dude that helped him? Roger Stone. And who is Roger Stone's like best friend? Donald Trump.
That stuff. And you're getting so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes.
Cutting taxes in their strategy for Republicans means the N-word.
And all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites.
The outcome is black people get hurt more than whites. All these abstract terms are still economic terms, so it's hidden. You just think they're talking about economic terms. But in all honesty, they're talking about we don't want N-words getting certain things, and we understand that we got to sacrifice some white people, but the majority of us white people will not get hurt. You notice he doesn't say white people don't get hurt. He says you get hurt less than black people. So their strategy is to find out how they can fuck with black people with as few white people getting harmed and most white people being helped by it.
Problem is, blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is part of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that we're doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me?
You follow me? We're getting rid of the racial problem one way or the other. You following me?
Because obviously sitting around saying we want to cut taxes, we want to cut this, and we want is much more abstract than even the busing thing, and a hell of a lot more abstract than you know.
And a hell of a lot more abstract than N-word, N-word.
So any way you look at it, race is coming on the back burner.
Any way you look at it, race is on the back burner. So I can play this again all the way through so you can learn it, listen to yourself. I had to break it down. But what we just heard is Lee Atwater, the political strategist that helped him become president, Reagan become president, and that it was who taught Roger Stone. Stone helped Donald Trump with all of this stuff. Stone is the head of all the Stop the Steal, the presidency. He's been behind the scenes. There's documentaries about it. He's been behind the scenes using this guy, Lee Atwater, and their racist strategies to get more black people on their side, to get more people of color on their side by using racist strategies that these idiots can't see. People that you are friends with, people that you may know that say they aren't racist, they don't understand by saying these words. They're saying the N-word over and over again. Take a look at what Donald Trump and his minions mention when they mention these words woke. Woke is broke. Woke, we can't have woke. Woke isms. They're constantly these woke left, woke this. See, the strategy for these things are started off with racism, and you hope that it takes off so that everybody starts to steal it and the Republicans know what it really means. But as long as if you are pissed off at whatever it is that you want to consider woke, that you just don't agree with, you don't realize you're saying the N-word. And it's so diluted with you that you're using it and not realizing the base root of what this new way of going about saying woke. If it doesn't mean for black people to stay aware of what's going on, it's the N-word. And they don't care how you use it because their strategies is to fuck with black people, to get in power and fuck with black people. And they don't care if it hurts some white people, but it hurts black people more. That's what he just said. So Abby Phillip asking the question, why does he say woke when he's talking about slavery? Because he's talking about black people, Abby. He's talking about us. He's using the same strategy as his mentor in politics would be Roger Stone, and Roger Stone's mentor is this prick, Lee Atwater. I don't understand how hard it is to connect these fucking dots. He literally just said it. You think that they're not still using this when it works? How many of you have said woke, meaning some kind of political term, meaning the MAGA term? How many? Millions of you out here have done it, not knowing you've been saying the N-word the entire time. While the racist fuckers, they want to say it because they know it's the N-word. They've been told it's the N-word. They know about Lee Atwater. The rest of this country does not. So you just heard it. I'm going to play it from beginning to end so that anybody who listens to it can decipher it for themselves instead of just having my 2 cents in it. But I'm going to play it again so they can go straight through and I won't say a word. Promise.
Here's how I would approach that issue as a statistician or a political scientist, or no, as a psychologist, which I'm not, is how abstract you handle the race thing. In other words, you start out, and now y'all aren't quoting me on this. You start out in 1954 by saying never, never, never. By 1968, you can't say never. That hurts your backfire, so you say stuff like force busing, states' rights and all that stuff. And you're getting so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is part of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that we're doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying we want to cut taxes, we want to cut this, and we want is much more abstract than even the busing thing, and a hell of a lot more abstract than never, you know. So any way you look at it, race is coming on the back burner.
You heard it for yourself. I got it clean for you so you can check it out and listen to it over and over again if you choose. But Lee Atwater just told you what the Southern strategy was. To make the term so abstract because they can't say the N-word. So in order to still get the same effect, the same outcome, they use abstract terms. Those abstract terms were used when I was a kid, force busing, which I got bused as a child. Little did I know they were saying the N-word because I was a kid, didn't know it. Years later, of increasing taxes and stuff like that, the N-word. All these things sound normal. They sound like economic terms, but they literally are the N-word. And now, the same strategy, they have not changed it because it works with racists. It works with people who have no idea what it means. People whom people thought that were for black causes, like Bill Maher. Him saying it, not knowing, I don't know if he knows by now, but it's the N-word. He doesn't realize how it's attached to everything that black people believe in or do. He doesn't realize that it's attached to stop white people from feeling bad and fuck black people and their ideologies. I mean, how hard is it to really kind of determine the facts here? It's hidden in plain sight. That's what these people are fucking excellent at. Put it in plain sight. You won't even see it. I don't understand how you don't see what's in your face. I honestly don't understand how people don't see what's hitting them right in the mouth. I don't get it. But it's real. 100% real. This man literally said even states' rights, forced busing, tax cuts, all that literally meant N-word. And now stay woke. Any terms that benefit people of color, and specifically black people, because they know they can get every race outside of the black people to hate black people. You can get Latin people to hate us. You can get Asian people to hate us. Even if they hate Jewish people, Latin people, and all these others, they know if they can get to the strongest root, because black people are the root. We have received the most racism in this country, so we are that root to racism. And if they can fuck with that, they can get Latin, some good white people that aren't racist, don't believe they're racist to say it. They can get other people to say it. And once it takes a hold, you guys are doing the jobs for them. See, the power is in that word. You notice they've been saying woke all the time. Woke, 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 woke. Why have they been saying it? Because they're so happy they're free to say the N-word. They're so happy to say it. It's taken on. It's become a popular hit. Once again, something that black people had that white people had to colonize. It was to protect us, and you're using it to destroy us. And that's what they love. We took their term and fucked with them again. It's the craziest thing. Black people have never done a fucking thing to white people. Not one thing. Culturally, we have been the most kindest, lovingest culture on this fucking, this soil. We have taken the most shit and given back love. Our grandmothers were taking care of a lot of these white people and their kids. And taking care of their own. And over and over and over again. Just hate, 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 hate. Why? What have they done to you? Absolutely nothing. They can't tell you one thing that black people have done. The things they talk about is black people got opportunities that belong to me. So you pissed off that black people came from nothing and actually started having something, and you came from something. You were never 3/5 a fucking human. You was never considered an animal. You came from something, and black people are passing you up, and Latin people are passing you up. How about you work harder? Because how the hell are they making it and they're black? You think they got opportunities you didn't get? Shit. Again, like I said, black people had to work 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times harder to get a position that a white person could walk in with flip-flops and get. You may look at it, oh, wow, there's a bunch of black people here. It used to be a bunch of white people. It's DEI. No, how about it then being so much better? The education just got better and better and better, and they got those jobs because they deserved them. Not because they were black, but because they were educated to get the position, that they were talented enough to get the position. Because trust me, I have never seen in my life a black person hired not knowing how to do the damn job in a career. Now, in just a regular job, working at McDonald's or something like that, which is a good job, anybody can necessarily do it. But even there, management is mostly white. It took black people forever to get management positions in like a McDonald's. I knew when I was a kid, all the managers were white. Wouldn't even hire a black manager. Where I'm from, in Indiana. But yeah, this shit right here, pure racism. Every time they say it, just realize it's the N-word. And then just kind of dissect it. Whenever they're talking about it, they're always talking about things that help black people. But it's not just black people. It helps us all. DEI helps us all. Critical race theory helps us understand how in law school, it's not in any high school, junior high, elementary. That was the fear tactic, that your kids would be learning that black people are treated different than white, which is the fucking truth. But you don't want the truth out there. Holy shit. Something's wrong with the truth being out there. We gotta lie. So here's the thing that trips me out. Why you gotta lie about something? How about you just change to become better humans? I mean, you're trying to make it seem like you were good by lying? How about you be good and the record will speak for itself? The actions will speak for themselves. You don't have to say you're good people. You just will be good people. How about that? And I'm not talking about all white people. Y'all know me. I'm talking about these racist people who want their history to be taught like, oh, we were just so good. Well, that's not true. But the reality is you can be a situation where the history was kind of fucked. Now you're making history today. Your choice is, am I going to be as bad as my ancestors or I'm going to be better? And therefore, if you choose to be better, then you understand why some of these statues have to go down and go into a museum or something, but not on everybody's street where a bunch of black people are living. They got to walk by this dude who hung their ancestors. I mean, they didn't do that in Germany. You don't walk around looking at Hitler and his Nazis on the ground everywhere, do you? You don't. But whenever something hurts black people, you're like, fuck it, we don't care. But the moment black history being taught hurts white people, oh, we got to get it out, it's not good. I mean, it just hurts you to see. Nobody in your family died, got raped, got cut open. None of that shit happened to your family. So just the idea that your families, your ancestors would do something like that makes you want to, like get pissed off about it and get mad at black people for letting everybody know that. But you want to walk by and think about what that person did for white people and not the horrible shit that he did to everybody else. And the thing that's tripped, he didn't do a lot for white people either. The higher upper echelon, yeah. The poor, fuck no. Didn't do nothing for you. But what he did was carry on white supremacy. And therefore, lower class, meaning like lower income people who aren't in that higher echelon class of people, they want to be attached to some type of royalty somewhere, somehow. And they don't want it like, oh, don't tamper with it. It's, we love the king and queen and the waving and shit. Well, who cares that they stole gold and killed people and cut their heads off and all that stuff I get for a diamond? Who cares? We just want to have diamonds and rubies. We don't hear about the bad stuff while negating the people who that's their history. And you don't want to be taught their history. Don't worry about your history. Pay attention to mine. It's much better. It's just like my history. Your history is gruesome. Nobody wants to hear about that. Let's hear about the good stuff. They don't even realize they're doing that. They really think it's like, oh, we're just doing something great. No, you're not. You're literally telling everybody else to fuck their history and make your history the best on the planet. No, history reports on itself. The reason why people today think that shit is barbaric and fucked up is because it was. We're not making it up. We're looking back and we've grown, thank God. And so even good white people should look back on that history and say, whoo, don't want to ever go back there. But you got to know how they got there in order to not go back there. Because black people have been telling you, if you know your history, we're headed back there right now by these hidden messages that are still saying the N-word, by these strategies that are trying to erase black people from the fucking planet. What do you think happens if you got rid of black history? Black people have no value. If black people have no value, then whose value just shoots up? White people. Because then they'll make it law that you can't even speak on black history. Can't be taught in schools, can't be said out in public, or you can go to jail, or you can get fined, put the fear on you. Then all of a sudden, 20 years from now, what are black people? Oh, you're just dark white. Learn your history, you'll start to see shit starts to repeat if you don't know what's going on. Because most of us are just living life and we're not paying attention to the day-to-day BS that they're doing. They are spending millions, if not billions, working toward a strategy. We are over here with nothing and just educating people. Who do you think is going to get ahead more? They are. Because they got money to go along to make you believe the bullshit they're saying. Many of these people used to be against what Donald Trump wanted, even some of these Republicans. But money came into it, power came into it, Marco Rubio flipped. Money and power will change people from their moralities that they had. And just looking at Marco Rubio should tell you where this country's going. This man stood on calling Donald Trump a tyrant, going down autocracy before he was president the first time, said everything against this man, and then flipped. And now he's got 4 or 5 jobs underneath him. He is his pet. He went from boisterous and talking like he was a man to being a simp. He's basically a fucking gerbil for this dude. Pay attention to history. Pay attention to it. So we're going to finish off what Scott Jennings had to say and a little bit more. It was a pretty good conversation they had. But again,
I mean, he said as much by ending this post with, this country cannot be woke because woke is broke. He says we have to have the hottest country in the world, and we want people to talk about it, including our museums. Why is he equating talking about slavery with woke?
Well, look, I think, let me just start this conversation by saying that my personal view is slavery was a reprehensible institution. I agree with your words that it was our original sin. We also fought a war to eradicate it and to get over it as a country. And that was a necessary thing that happened, and a lot of people died, and we did eradicate it, and that's a good thing. I think what he's asking is, in our museums, what defines us? Are we going to be defined by the worst moment or the worst institution or the worst mistake we ever made? Or are we going to be defined by what we've done moving forward to get over it and to become the greatest nation on the earth? My belief is that he wants to look at these museums, not because he wants to do away with the idea that slavery occurred, but that he wants to ask a very simple question. Are we going to present ourselves as being exceptional or not? And I think he believes there is an effort by some to continue to try to define us from our worst moment instead of to try to focus and define us based on our best moments, which started when we eradicated slavery and began to move forward as the light of the world. And so that's what I...
So here's the thing, what Scott Jennings is saying. He's making it seem like, yes, slavery was over, but he doesn't understand that slavery didn't end when slavery was over. I mean, you know what I'm saying? 1865 was not the end of slavery. The 13th Amendment said that it can be slavery again, which turned out to be prisons, jails, which lets you know that before then, there wasn't such a thing. Policing became about to catch slaves so they can put them back on the plantations and get free labor again. While saying they're free, they're in prison for life for jaywalking, for sleeping under a tree, vagrancies. So you eradicated what? The 13th Amendment does not eradicate slavery. It pushes it into prison. So, I mean, don't get it twisted. If you don't know your history, you need to learn it. But these people know. They are master gaslighters. This man has been in politics for a long, long time. He knows Lee Atwater. So when he's on here, they lie with such like, I am just so innocent. And, you know, I'm just saying, this is just, they in their mind. I promise you, I wish somebody would shoot these dudes with like a truth serum. Oh my God, the shit you would come out of these people's mouths. He would be literally calling her an N-word about 75 times if somebody just, not even accidentally, just shot him with a blow gun with a truth serum. N-word would come out this man's mouth 24, 34 times in 50 seconds. Because you have to understand, you can't be in politics and not know your history of Republican history. These strategies go on behind closed doors all the time. You can't tell me Lee Atwater's name does not come up anymore. He created a strategy or was a major master of a strategy that got many of them elected. So if he even knows Lee Atwater, he knows that woke is the new N-word. It is a strategy they use successfully. Look how many people say it. Look how many people that you don't think are racist or even have an idea they're saying something racist say it on a day-to-day basis. Hell, many of us, I'm sure, have said it, not pertaining to like being woke, but woke, like the wokeisms that they're talking about, just to appease some people. Well, I know there's some woke on the far left that I don't agree with. They're a little too woke. Too woke is what? They're too racist? What are you talking about? You appease these racists, these Republicans, because they may be your friends, they may be family, and what they're saying, if they don't know they're saying it, tell them what it is and see if they'll keep saying it. I guarantee you they will, because they don't care to be saying the N-word. In other words, they'll be like, oh, wow, I can say it now. Some of them. There'll be some that'll be like, I didn't know that. And then say, don't listen to this black dude. Listen to Lee Atwater, somebody who's racist and white just like you. Listen to what it is, and listen to how Donald Trump and Roger Stone adored this dude. And this dude is the one who helped them win their first presidency. And the same, Lee Atwater's dead, but the strategy's still alive. Through the people that he mentored. And Roger Stone is a major mentor. That was his main mentor. Lee Atwater was his. So, all right.
Make museums, that's what makes us an exceptional nation, is because they tell the history and the story of our country, and therefore, you know, these horrible, horrific moments in our history. The original sin, as Abby talked about, when it comes to slavery, has, you know, we of course did eradicate it, but look where we've come today. And I think those museums, like to your point, make America exceptional. And in museums all around the world that document atrocities, whether it be, you know, from Nazi Germany to eradicating slavery here in the United States, you have to learn the lessons of the past. And to deny it is to defend it.
I don't think he's denying it. And Bachi may want to comment on this as well. But I think what he wants to ask is a simple question. As we present our history, are we spending most of our time focused on something terrible? Are we going to spend more time as we enter our 250th anniversary focused on what this country has done to improve the lives of every single person who lives here? We are the light of the world for a reason, because we're an improving commodity.
We're an improving commodity. They're trying to make America look like the greatest place on earth to be. And they don't want to have this speckle of whatever it is on their little polished history. They want to clean the blackness off of their polished history. They want to polish it and buff it and make it look better than it actually is. You can hear what he's saying. We just want to market the country better. That's all. I mean, we don't want to forget it, but we kind of want to push it aside. You can go look at it if you choose, but we don't want to promote it. And it's like, you're not promoting it now. It's just that black people and people of color have been educating, and white people have been educating the world on the truth. These white people that are educating aren't feeling guilty about what happened because they weren't a part of it. They're just saying, look at how it was and look how we're getting better. And we can't get even better than that unless we admit where we've been, so that we never go there, and that we get further and further away from it as opposed to getting closer and closer back to it. Make America great again. They want to take you back towards slavery. And we're preaching about, nope, we're going further and further away from it. So much so that we want you guys to die off so that this country can actually work in more of a perfect union to some degree than that crap. Those people are holding this country back from being great. The people who are in leadership right now, that 30% or whatever it is of America, if it fell off the face of the earth, we'd be a better country. We have more people who gave a fuck about one another, knowing that in every community, you can get what you need with the taxes that we have. What your community needs, not everything you need. This is not like a fucking smorgasbord to get what you want. You get a bridge and you get a bridge and you get a bridge. But it is whatever's going on as far as federal government aspect is going on in your state that you need federally. I mean, California's going to have earthquakes. They're going to need some federal money for certain things. Other places are going to have tornadoes. They're going to need federal money for certain things. We all understand and agree with that, with the not perfect, but the union that we have of the United States. Why is that such a big deal? Because of somebody's politics? It's like, yo, look, regardless of the politics stuff, think of us being as humans. If you saw a person that needed your help and you have a good heart, are you asking them, are they Democrat or Republican? Did they vote for Trump, vote for Hillary, vote for Kamala, vote for Obama, vote for whatever, Reagan? Are you asking that? No. You see somebody hurt? Are you bleeding? Are you feeling okay? You feel dizzy? Are you dying on me? What's going on? That's what you would talk about. And that's what we can all talk about when we're talking about things that are going on in our communities. But we ain't got to blame everything on people's races. Crime happens in everybody's community. White, black, Latin, hell, animals even fight. But we want to sit here and act like it's just one race, so therefore we can feel good about ourselves. It's not true. Not true whatsoever. I have yet to see a black person go around hanging white people. I have not seen a black person tie a white person on the back of a truck and drive that bitch off and tear off their skin till their fucking bones and the skeletons dragging in the back of their vehicle while they hear the screams of a child or grown up. I haven't seen that shit. There are no pictures of black people hanging white people. So please stop with the one race is worse than the other. There's a lot to go around with horrible things. But when we talk about racism, I think in this country, white people got everybody beat. But you can talk about good people who've helped since then. That history would be great. The abolitionists, the people who celebrated when it was over. Yes, let's talk about that. That's when America started moving toward being a better place. Not perfect, but that history before that. No, you got to admit they were shitty humans. That's it. Got to admit that. But they want you to still be, oh, they were great. They did this. They signed this paper. I'm like, that's great. They signed this, that, and the third. You can like that. That's fine. But I don't have to sit around as an American citizen like celebrating that. No, thank you. You can't, but no, thank you. But if I'm going to walk this earth just like you, no. How would white people like it if we had a huge massacre and a black guy killed 1 million white people? A group of black people killed 1 million white people, and we decided to go put that black dude on a statue in the middle of the most racist state in the world. How would you like it if we just put it right in the middle of the city? Just to let them know, yeah, keep fucking around. We're going to, whoever that black dude is, you know what I'm saying? We're going to take you out. We just put it right there. You walk into the church and walk into the park and walk into the library, not realizing the history of the dude that's sitting right there killed 1 million of your ancestors. Would you want that in your park where your kids play? No, you wouldn't. Don't lie to yourself. You would not. You don't have to be liberal, Democrat, Republican to have fucking feelings toward people and have empathy that you don't put the quote unquote boogeyman in the fucking community. You don't praise a murderer. You don't praise a rapist. You wouldn't put Jeffrey Dahmer no fucking where. So why put people who unalive people just for the color of their skin somewhere? It makes no sense. It says, I don't want these people around. If you got that around, the people that person unalived or raped or whatever, they got to look at it. What do they got to celebrate for? Nothing. It makes no sense. Only to a racist. And only somebody who wants to cling on to racist ideologies that want something like that want to put it back. These are just simple understandings of what racism is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why it's hard. It's not hard that a racist is a person who wants to see a racist catapulted and put into the air something that you're supposed to worship. A racist killer. You want that to look up to. You're a racist. I don't care if that person came down and parted the Red Sea. If that person is put there and killed a bunch of black people because he didn't like black people, I don't care who it is. Killed a bunch of black people because they didn't like, killed a bunch of natives because they didn't like them. You worshiping that racism, period. I don't care if that dude saved 4 black people from falling off a river, off a boat. I don't care. There was one act in his life. Hundreds of thousands of other acts where he did horrible things. You're going to define him by one of his greatest moments and then ignore his hundreds of thousands of doing horrible. So you're going to pick one. And that's what kills me about these people like Scott. They'll be like, you want to talk about one time in history. You put millions of people into one. Slavery is one thing. Really? Okay, let's do slavery. Let's do rape. Let's do maiming. Let's do quartering. Let's do, having them fight each other like wild dogs to the death. Let's do all the horrible things and just separate them. So slavery is one, and let's do all these other things that you did. So now we got probably 100,000 different things that you did to black people. So does it look better now or worse? But you can just throw it all into one word. Slavery. Oh, can we stop talking about slavery? I said, okay, let's talk about how you rape black women and kids. Can we go there? See? They don't want no parts of it. And it's like, look, the reason why we bring all that stuff up is because we don't want it to happen again. And if you don't know your history, what? You're doomed to repeat it. So when you're trying to erase it, these people want it to come back. As you see, the things that they're doing. We got military in the street. You know what countries do that? Dictatorships, autocracies have military in the street just roaming around. I remember I went to, and I don't even know what their setup is. I don't know what their economy or the way they run their country, Mexico. But I took a trip to Mexico once, took a cruise for a couple days or something like that with my kids and my ex-wife. She was my wife at the time. And as soon as we got there, they told us, things that we should do or shouldn't do. I'm walking down the street, going places, grabbing drinks and stuff like that, having a good time. And all I saw was military vehicles drive by with a man gun. I'm like, why are they on the Jeep with the dude sitting there with his hands on the weapon? Huh, that's weird. And here we got on our streets now. I'm in LA, our streets in other states, Washington, D.C., with men and women walking around with heavy machinery as if they're occupying another country. And the country is supposed to be great. That this guy wants to talk about. They're fucking up history. Think about this. When they're gone, these Republicans, our streets will be clean of these military people sitting around. What do you think the history is going to look like once they're gone? They're going to look back on this and say, this is the worst time in history. One of the worst times outside of slavery and, all these different things that have happened to human beings, the internment camps and things of that nature. But as far as like in modern history, it's going to be one of the worst, where we almost lost democracy if we don't lose it. And they want us to praise like what's going on in America right now. How? Everything's going up in price. We got police on our street, military on our street, acting like thugs, snatching up people in courthouses trying to get their job done. And I don't know if you guys saw it or not. There's a judge that is saying now that I guess it's the DOJ, whatever, was forcing the judges to throw out these people's cases and then having this media moment of snatching them out of the courtrooms. As soon as they come out of the courtroom, snatching them. And the reason why their case was thrown out is because Pam Bondi and all of them just said, you have to deny them. And the judge did it. Basically said, oh, we're going to cancel this for right now, whatever. And he knew that they're going to be walked out and arrested. He's out there talking about it now, this judge. He's upset about it. But you did it. You could have had a stand and said, no, you're not going to let it happen. But he's talking about it now. Look where the country's going. Look where the country's going. He wants us to sugarcoat shit. Our country is shittier, not better. We were better before Donald Trump ever got into office. This country was way better. When Obama left, 1,000 times better than when Donald Trump went first, when became president, his first presidency. Then Biden came in and tried to turn a piece of shit into something, and he did, which was shocking to me. And then this fool comes in, throwing tariffs and is destroying the country again, giving people this false ideology that we're getting all this money, but in all honesty, we're not. That's the business paying for it, and we're going to end up paying for it once they run out of the front-loading products that they bought at the regular rates, and they're going to get close to it, and they're going to skyrocket shit. They already been doing the sneakflation, raising shit up 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, $1. But once all those products are gone, to the roof. You can't have 0, 2, and 3% tariffs and shoot all the zeros, the 2s, and the 3 to 10%. So 10 times as much for some people, right? 10% more than ever, 0 to 10%. That's going to be a lot. If you was buying something that was $1,000 and it was paying 0, you just went up 10% of that. Easily going to have to pay an extra $100 if they just give you the 10%. It's sad, yo. It's really sad.
When I hear you say that is why, I mean, the idea that slavery happened, it's hard to understand what we've overcome if you don't even talk about what it was.
Facts.
I think that kind of waters down the whole
I don't think anybody is
experience.
proposing that we ignore that it happened.
I
don't
think
think that's accurate.
I think that the problem is that there are people, and Scott used the term a couple of times, and I don't think it was meant with any type of ill intent, but he said, we got over it. And I think that's the problem. I think that there are a lot of people in this country who believe that for some reason we got over it. I mean, the fact is that American chattel slavery is vastly different than what Jillian Michaels and others talk about when they talk about slavery around the world. I mean, the chattel slavery system that we had was extremely transactional. It was actually codified in law, and it was based upon the color and race, as you so eloquently pointed out in your opening. And so not only when you think about that portion of where we are, 26 of our first 30 Supreme Court justices owned slaves. The people who are on our money every single day owned slaves. United States presidents, members of the United States Congress owned slaves. Lehman Brothers, we're not far from Wall Street, owned slaves. Brooks Brothers suits that we wear own slaves. So not only are we talking about the epicenter and the foundation of where our country was built, we have to acknowledge that. But even more importantly, and this is where I believe that Scott and I can find agreement on this issue. Breon and Megan Walker, two of my best friends in the world, their dad was the first African-American SGA president at the University of South Carolina, right? He was an exec at IBM, but he was one of the first, right? We're still talking about first that emerged and stood on those shoulders. I tell the story often about my mom and dad. My mom helped desegregate high schools. In Hamilton High School in Memphis, Tennessee, my dad shot in the Orangeburg Massacre. This is a part of my story. This isn't some faint, distant history. Yeah. And so the reason I bring that up is because I think that American exceptionalism talks about the fact that Black folk enslaved folk help build this country for what it is. They built Washington, D.C., but all of us are around this table. Abby, myself, all of us, not just Abby and myself, all of us are around this table because of the sacrifices and the blood and the sweat and the tears these people poured in.
Facts. Facts. My mom was part of a sharecropper. Her grandfather, who raised her, my great grandfather, who I knew passed away when I was a little kid, was a sharecropper. And when she was a kid, she picked cotton. So I'm not far removed from that type of thing, even though it was better than slavery. It still was a part of the same process. Not getting an education and having to go pick cotton. Not far removed from it. People want you to think that, oh, it was so long ago. It really wasn't. There are people who are still alive that were at the end of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know 1865 slavery, but Jim Crow, at the end of Jim Crow, there are people still alive, right? Having to do certain things that you can get caught, hung, beat. That shit was still going on in the 60s. It's crazy. It's crazy how people just kind of act like it was. I mean, it happened. 21 was Wall Street, Black Wall Street, the Tulsa massacre they call it. There's no excuse for this stuff. There's just evil upon evil, and so when we look back on that, we should look at it as it is a horrible past, but how we got over it is, and we're working toward getting better. That right there is the part that America can be proud of. But if you're continuing to build on that, that's where we can build this pride of this country. That's where we can become a more perfect union, is not hating on anybody. The biggest problem in this country, 100%, is racist white people. If they weren't here, everybody else knows the history of this country and that we want to get better. And how we get better is being more inclusive, not exclusive. We can live in each other's communities, live in our own communities. I don't care about what you do with that. But as long as you're not trying to F over one, over the other, it's like, yo, whatever you were given, the gift that you was given in life, that's going to take you places. And there's no limit to what you can do if that's the case. If you don't have a faction that is constantly trying to drag you down. And what we've become is a bunch of billionaires in our country want to have every dime that everybody makes, and everybody, I guess, becomes slaves. I have no idea what their idea is, but what they're doing is constantly trying to buy more power. And it's like, what are you going to do with all this power? Why don't you just get your money, go off on your ships and shit like that, go to work and leave everybody else the fuck alone? Why is it that you want everything? You already got as much money that you could possibly even have. Like, what's the big deal of getting so much richer and richer and richer and richer and richer? What's the use of that? Once you can buy everything, what is it? Now I can fuck with everybody? I don't get that. Americans, for the most part, want to make enough money to take care of their families, right? Then want to make enough so that when they're sick, it's taken care of. They got enough money that it won't break them if they got sick. And they want to go on vacations after they retire. They want to travel the world and see shit they couldn't see because they was working their entire fucking life. Or they just want to go off somewhere and just live the rest of their life either on a farm or in the Caribbean or whatever, and just enjoy the rest of it. While you got these fucks over here making billions of dollars constantly fucking with people just so they can make more money. I mean, you already don't pay that much taxes. This is what kills me. They have more power to determine how our lives should be, while they got more money than many of us collected. If you took every last American and put their money together, some of these people have that much money and more. And you still fucking with people? I'm like, dude, go off and buy your island and chill. Leave everybody the fuck alone. What are you trying to do in your lifetime? You out here trying to destroy people's lives. Why you don't deserve the money? To whom much is given, much is expected. We don't expect you to fuck with everybody. We expect you to go off and live your life. You know, did your job. Kudos. Give yourself a pat on the shoulder, clap, and move the fuck on already. Everybody else is trying to get their life together. We don't need you fucking with it. It kills me. Somebody, I got this message or some shit, like a letter in LA. I'm in LA because Gavin Newsom is doing his thing to try and match up with what they're doing in Texas, Governor Abbott. And I applaud him for it. I got this little thing telling me, you know, it's going to mess up our economy. It's going to do that. I'm like, shut the fuck up. If you got a problem with it, and it's always some fake ass Democrat. They try to make it seem like it's a Democrat making it blue and not red. But when you go and look deep into the fine print, it's some Republican pissed off sending Democrat people. I don't know how they get our information unless Democrats sell it. Sending information to tell you to say no on shit or what the opposite of what really want. And that means we really want this. We want to make this happen so that we can offset and get these Republicans out of office, get them out of power. And you Republicans, you guys need to find a new set of people that aren't tyrants that want to like take over the world like Pinky in the fucking brain here. It's ridiculous. This country is ours, not yours. Ours. We all live in it. It shouldn't be hard. Capitalism allows you all to make as much money as you possibly can, how much effort you put into it. But people getting power just to harm people, that's just horrible. I often think, I'm like, why did God create these people? I don't know. That's one I struggle with. It's like, why did you create these demons? Or why do you let them live? You got all power. Why are they still here? Free will is a little much when you're sitting and seeing these people destroy people's lives. When you saw Epstein raping young girls and you knew it was happening, if you believe in God and all this, why didn't you strike him down? Why didn't you strike Trump down when he supposedly did to the 13-year-old? I have a lot of problems with this. That's why I'm not that much of a believer. I believe in God, but I don't believe he's there to save us. I used to believe that. I don't anymore because I don't see him saving anybody. The people who need it, they go through the pain. They don't get saved. They never get struck down. Their lives, Donald Trump's had a financial, like, wonderful life. He has been a tyrant his whole entire life. He should have been dead and gone in his 20s for the evil he was doing. I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't think God had anything to do with it. You still don't have anything to do with it. I know God ain't got nothing to do with what he did. I'm saying God should have took him out. My mom says, you know, and everybody's mom, especially black families, say, you know, I brought you in this world, I take your ass out. God brought you in. Why aren't you taking him out? You can't tell me that that man has a mission on his life. And his life has been nothing but putting other people's lives through hell, not paying them, raping them, you know, grabbing them by their private parts. I mean, just a menace to fucking society, and continues to live. While young people getting cancer, dying, never did nothing to nobody. The demon lives, the innocent dies. It's a struggle with me. I ain't saying what you got to believe. It's just a struggle with me. It really is. But that today was about, so the show today is just about woke. I want people to focus on that. I don't want to do too many topics on today. The woke part is the main part of today. We need to focus on getting this lexicon back to what it means, what Ledbetter meant for be Lead Belly, rather. His last name is Ledbetter, but the artist Lead Belly, what he meant. And it meant to stay woke, to be aware, be vigilant of your surroundings, because you don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, always watch what's around you so that you don't end up in a bad situation. That's what it means. These people have turned it into the N-word. And it needs to be exposed. Because if we don't expose it, they'll continue doing it. And once we start exposing it, that's when they'll stop using it. They're a freaking like cancer on society. You can't have something without them trying to steal it or colonize it. It's in their blood, and they're so good at it. I mean, what person goes around thinking, how can I strategize to say the N word and get people all upset? I mean, to literally think like this Lee Atwater. These people sit for hours thinking how they can fuck over black people. What? Where's that? What have black people done to them? I ask white people, good white people, what do you think black people have done to white people that makes them so hateful? I have never understood that. What makes them so hateful for people who have never done anything to them? All right, Vera, stay positive and strong. Definitely understand. Yeah, I stay myself, like again, I'm exposing these things, and as I expose them, it's not, it's not a way to be happy in it. You know what I'm saying? You really have to be passionate about it, and want it to change. I feel, to me, I don't know if I can trust somebody who could talk about this with such a, like so nonchalant way. You know what I mean? It's like, how can you care about it if you're just like, well, I don't think they should be saying it. That's why I look at some of these reporters and I'm like, you don't have any passion. You're just deadpan on talking about this shit. I'm like, no, I'm not deadpanning shit. I'm lighting it up. No use, and there's no use to play like down on something like this. You be emotional about it because it's really effed up. It's not something that's just going to get talked out of. These people, you can't talk them out of this racism. They're stuck with it. You got to get to their kids, their grandkids, their nieces and nephews. These people are not changing. I don't say this to change MAGA. I say it to expose them to their families who have fucking common sense. The ones who are not brainwashed yet, or just barely had a few years of brainwashing. Because trust me, that's what they want. That's what they're pissed off about. They're pissed off that you're in the schools telling their kids the truth when they don't want them to know the truth. They want them to know the lies. That they're supreme and they're great and they're this, they're that. And it's like, no, their kid will learn through life that they're not supreme. Just through everyday life. They'll learn that that Latin person, that white woman is better than me at something. If it's a white man, that with a white woman who thinks that way, that she's gonna realize that black girl, that Latin girl, is better than her at art or math or whatever. How are you supreme? You're supposed to be better than everybody at everything. You're not superhuman. You're just human. And them trying to build them up to be like they're superhuman, they're greater than everybody else. It's ridiculous because they end up realizing that's why they get so mad and angry that they don't have anything because they've been told they were the best thing since fucking sliced bread and they realize they're moldy bread. They're like, wait a minute, I thought I was supposed to be great. Well, you focused on whiteness and not an actual skill. No wonder you're not great. You're great at talking shit, but you're not great at any gift or anything like that because you didn't focus on that. You focused on the BS that they told you, the white privilege. You hoped that would happen. That's why they're getting rid of, if you listen to any of these people talk, they're pissed off that H1B or H1, HB1, whatever, the visa. I always get that. I'm dyslexic, I guess. That visa mixed up. H1B visas or something like that. But anyway, that's where people from other countries who are very skilled come to this country and get jobs that are making, a few $100,000, sometimes $1 million, depends on what it is. And they go out of the country and get people who are great at it because they don't think Americans are smart enough to take it. So a lot of these white men are not getting these jobs because they're not qualified. Their education level's not there. And they're pissed off at these visas and they're pissed off at these brown people and these black people and others because they think if they got the education, the job should be there for them. So get all these people out so I can get these high paying jobs. Sorry to tell you, you're still not going to get the high paying job. They'd rather put a robot in it. If they can get rid of black and Latin and everybody else out of position, best believe they putting a robot. They ain't hiring you because you're not skilled enough for it. They ain't gonna try to hire you to train you, because the time they train you, they're losing money. They like racism, but they like money and power more. These business owners. And that's why you got people like, we got his name, the racist. I saw him ranting today. I got to watch these people sometimes. Nick Fuentes. He had a rant about, all these visas and people of color, basically DEI, getting their jobs. So they believe that these high-paying jobs are white men jobs. And it has nothing to do whether they know the skill or not. They're supposed to get it because they're white men. You can't win when you got white men believing, racist white men believing they deserve a job or a certain amount of money per year just because they're white. I'm like, are you skilled at whatever you're trying to do? Nope. It's just supposed to be my job. And you hear Donald Trump back in the day, black jobs, talking about these farmers and these. They ain't taking our jobs, bruh. If you were worried about black people losing jobs to the immigrants, you could have just talked to black people. We'd been like, nah, we cool, we straight. We ain't going there. You can keep them. We ain't going back to the fields. You could have asked us, but they didn't ask us. It was more of their racist shit because black people ain't going. I don't care how much they giving per hour. If you see a black person out in the field, they're working, they giving that dude $1 million a day. Because I'd be damned you're going to go out there for 10, 5, 15, even 50. Ain't going to be out there. 50, he'll work till he get enough money to buy him a car, whatever he needed. Then he quit. He ain't staying for 20 years. It ain't going to happen. It's crazy. These people really think black people are going to go back. Black people will go to Africa before they fuck around and go into your fields. Anyway, that's just hilarious to me. But you got the Lee Atwater, you see that woke is not broke. Woke is the N-word. Ledbetter, now you can, Leadbelly, whether you can give him the credit for that term and know the history of it if you watch this, right? And you've seen how others, MAGA and other people that have determined what they believe woke is and what Donald Trump and his minions are trying to do. They're trying to eradicate anything that is DEI, which they believe is black, which, don't get it twisted, DEI is disabled, DEI is white women, DEI, of course, is black, DEI, of course, is Latin, people of color, disadvantage, all of the above. And what they're mad about is that white men who aren't in the bubble of getting everything because they're white, the middle class and poor white men, they're mad as shit that these people are getting the jobs. But you really got to listen to society and yourself. You didn't go and get educated for the job. You became complacent. You thought it was going to be there. You thought that coal mining job was going to be there forever. When they start putting in the trades of what's going on, that coal mining is going to go to the past and not to the future, that's when you should have shifted. I mean, wasn't black lung enough? When you were like, man, I can come out there and I have to have black lung and make some pretty good money. Okay, what industry's coming? Who knew? Probably none, because you didn't focus on trying to get other industries there. You were too much whining about getting your coal back. Realizing that when you did come back for the coal under whatever Donald Trump, that it was only going to be short-lived. Half-manned. Still same problem. If you had learned how to be an electrician or learn how to, do solar, you would have a future. Not only here, but all over the world. If you had learned that trade, you could have moved from Virginia to any country you wanted to pick. You could have went to Europe and made a lot of money. If New York wasn't, I mean, California, United States decided, like with Trump, to take away if you learned that back when Obama was talking about it, you'd be making a shit ton of money right now. But no, you wanted black lung, and you ended up getting it. Some of you are dead right now. I was speaking to dead people, but it's just insane. People will cut their own foot off and look down and be like, how'd that happen? With the knife or saw in their fucking hand. Like, you got the saw and the cut off foot in your hand, and you asking how the fuck it happened. You did it. You did it to yourself. That's why he says he loves the uneducated or the poorly educated, because you don't even realize you cut your own fucking foot off by voting this dude. And you're just like, oh, well, he said he didn't say he was going to do shit. Donald Trump had no plans. All he had was buzzwords, some whack ass adjectives, a story about a snake he stole from a black man, a bunch of glitches, and you guys thought he was the greatest thing in the fucking planet. You get what you pay for. You bought an old, decrepit, used piece of shit, and you can't be mad if the engine don't work, because you bought it. And just like everything else, you buy a lemon, he's already passed his insurance date. You got 3 days or so. He's passed those 3 days. You're going to have to deal with that lemon or get rid of him. It's up to you. But it's your fault that he's here, that he's a part of this country. It's your fault, MAGA. It's 100% your fault. And the only person going to save you are you. If you want your bills to go down, get rid of that clown. Point blank, period. Appreciate y'all. I'll see here. There we go. Excuse me. Being here. I appreciate it. You guys can support the show, as you see below me. I appreciate everybody coming. All my members, much love. Nomadic Mariner. What's so beautiful about being at sea is witnessing the cycles at play, the marine life that comes out, the days where the sea roars and days. Oh, it sounds like a poem. It sounds so calming. I wish I was out there, but I couldn't do it though. I couldn't do it. First of all, I'm not that great of a swimmer, and second of all, when it gets too choppy, oh, your boy I'm done. I'm done. Whole life messed up. I took that cruise years ago. And it's a big ship though, so Princess Cruise, whatever it was. And on the way there, I had the ball. Climbing a little wall, playing a little basketball, all that. Have fun, went to the pool, chilled out, went and got food like on the regular, saw a few shows, hung out with the kids, had a great time. On that way back, oh Jesus. I was like, it felt like I was doing this all the way back home. Even when I was laying down trying to sleep, I felt like I was like, stop it already. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, what is this guy doing? I'm like, dude, could you like sail the same way you sailed here? I don't know nothing about water, but I'm sitting there like, dude, just sail the same way. It feel like you doing sideways sailing or something. It feel like you're doing this. I'm like, man, the driver's drunk, the captain. But it is what it is. I don't know nothing about water, so I couldn't live on it. Even though I would love to do it, I went sailing on a smaller ship, and I had fun with that. So I sailed with this one rich dude that was dating a friend of mine, and it was like in like those movies, like The Talented Mr. Ripley or whatever the hell it is. They got the sail and they're asking you telling you what to do. I'm like, dude, I ain't never sailed before. He's like, well, do something, whatever. He named bow, whatever. And he's like, the sail, and he's putting it out. And it just reminds me, it's just like, it was so, like I said, it was so like those movies, like The Talented Mr. Ripley. I want to say that's one of the movies. Whereas there was cheese, there was wine, the charcuterie board. I always messed it up. A little prosciutto, all kinds of expensive cheese sitting out there, and this wine, just endless wine, expensive wine and shit like we're having. And I'm sitting here like, Hey, babe. She like, what? Where the food at? This shit's a bunch of snacks. What the fuck is all this? I said, where the food at? These fools feeding us snacks. He rich. Why is he feeding us expensive cheese? I'm ready for some real shit. Where's the steak at? Where's the chicken? Where's the sides? This food. We out here for 5-6 hours eating cheese. I'm like, is he rich? Is he broke? What the fuck? It's crazy. I like, but I guess that's what rich people do. I don't know nothing about it. They just go out and have wine and cheese and little pieces of prosciutto. But that shit was funny. I was like, we bougie right now. But I thought bougie came with a little bit more like, beef, steak, something. Not just cheese and wine. Anyway, that's me. I'm stupid sometimes. But yeah, we had a good time. But anyway, my little rant. But I appreciate you guys being here. You guys, always a pleasure. Rooted in Planet Janet, thank you for being here. Dennis, thank you, Dennis. I appreciate you. Dennis, Petro, B Money, I appreciate you being here. Nomadic Mariner, also appreciate you being here. Just give everybody love that I see as members. I got a lot of members. I see it was a Brandon Trammell. Welcome. I know Mike. Was Mike here? As I get back, somebody was at the top. Give me a second as I Mike. So Mark was here. I don't know if he's still here, but appreciate you being here, brother. As always, I enjoy you guys. Love getting the facts out there. You got facts you want to know about, you can always hit me up. If you want me to talk about a specific topic, I'm always open if I know anything about it. I don't want to get on here and start talking about stuff I don't know about. Thank you, Rude. I appreciate you. She said it was a great show as always. Thank you. I appreciate that. Put a lot of hard work into stuff I do. But sometimes some shows are better than others. I understand you win some, you lose some, but it appears I won some today. Hopefully that the education part, I tried to keep as many cuss words out so people can learn, but I get frustrated with a lot of things, and I can't talk like the news. It's no passion, no emotion behind it, and I don't believe a fucking word they say. When you sit there and there's something really they're like, if somebody called them the N-word, they'd be like, I don't think that's the appropriate word to say. I'd be like, say that shit again. Say it again. I want to hear it. Say it again. As soon as the N-word come out your mouth, just N, I'm going to pop you right in your throat. That's the shit I want to hear. I don't hear that. I don't think that. Shut up. I don't want that. I'll be factual. So anyway, you guys have a great night. I'll see you sometime tomorrow around 5:30-ish as I put these shows together and try to give you as much knowledge as possible about certain things. The news today was kind of bland, the same old thing a little bit, but I wanted to educate a little bit more about woke. So please, if you hear somebody saying the word woke, inform them what it means if they're not talking about the perspective of be aware of what's around you. Because again, they love the fact that it has many meanings, but when Republicans use it and talk about things are too woke, it's too N-word. I speak facts, straight facts. I tell you that. No chaser. Fuck your feelings. Y'all take care. Much love.